Yeah, welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we explore the moments that shape our resilience, faith, and understanding of love. Today, I'm joined by Kim Sorrelle, author, speaker, humanitarian leader, cancer survivor, and we journeying through cancer, grief, and a year-long quest to understand the true meaning of love has impacted thousands around the world. It's really a pleasure having you on the show, Kim.
My gosh, it's such a pleasure to be here. I love your show. You do such a great job and you're spreading love all over the world. I love that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kim. So, Kim, what were some of the challenges that shape you into who you have become today?
I think that one of the biggest challenges I went through is I was diagnosed with cancer, and 4 months later, my husband was diagnosed with cancer, and he passed away 6 weeks after that. And I was in my 40s and single and not expecting it. You know, we expected to be the 90-year-olds sitting on the front porch drinking lemonade or whatever you do when you're 90-year-old people, and never thought that at 47 years old, I was going to be alone and I had to figure out life. I had to figure out what life was going to look like. And it made me question some things. And I wanted to make sure that I was living life right. My husband was a great guy, and I wanted to really live a life to honor him. And so I wanted to know, well, how do you know? How do you know that you're doing life exactly the way you should be doing it? And I thought, well, love is what it's all about. And so if I understood what love is, what love means, and then lived it, like then I would be living life right. But I'll tell you, it was hard to figure out. Like I asked people, I read books, but I think you put 12 people in a room and you say, what is love? You get 12 different definitions. And so it's like, well, what is it? So I decided I had to figure it out on my own. So I dedicated a year to figuring out the true meaning of love. And the things that I found out just changed my life and rocked my world.
Wow, amazing, amazing. I think it's I'm really curious about how you dedicated 1 year towards searching for what it means, and we'll dive into that later. So, how did facing cancer alongside your husband change your perspective on life and love?
It changed it so much. It's the tough times. It's when we're going through the tough times that you really grow, right? Like when life is just easy, then you're changing a little bit. But when you get through the tough things, when you have big challenges in life, that's when you really grow as a person. That's when you see what kind of a person you are, how you're going to hold up in something. And so it was a challenge to be in the position I was in. But my life is so completely different now than it was. My life was great before. It's not that, but the things that I'm doing now, I wouldn't be able to do with my husband here because I travel a lot for work, and that would be very difficult to do with a spouse at home. And if I had a choice, I'd pick him over the travel a lot for work, but I don't have a choice. So I figure, well, since I don't have a choice, I'll do whatever I can to help the world be a better place with the freedom that I have as a single woman.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Kim, and thank you for what you do. Yeah, that's really amazing. So, after losing your husband, what helped you move from survival to purpose?
The biggest thing that helped me, something that I've never read in a book, I've never heard anybody talk about, but when I was finally ready to go back to work, because I still was going through things with my cancer, I had some surgeries I had to get through and whatever after my husband passed away. But when I was physically able to go back to work, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I'm an entrepreneur. I had businesses and I could go back into the businesses, but I had people running them. So I didn't have to do that. And I decided I was going to take things a little slower to figure out life. And so I decided I was going to be part-time bookkeeper for a nonprofit organization that my father and I had started 10 years before then, but this guy was running for us. And so January 1st of that year, I started as part-time bookkeeper. 12 days later, there was an earthquake in Haiti that killed 200,000 people. So within 2 weeks, I was in Haiti. And then I spent part of every month for the next several years in Haiti, working and helping. And I'll tell you, the thing that really made the biggest difference for me with grief is service. And I've never heard anybody say that, but service is the greatest healer of grief. It gets you out of your own mind and out of your own woe is me and everything going on with me. When you can serve other people, when you can help other people, And so I highly recommend it. If you're deep in grief, the best thing you could do for yourself is go volunteer somewhere, go do something to help somebody. But that was the biggest thing that helped me for sure.
Yeah, amazing. I think just hearing from you just speak volumes to the fact that, yeah, when you render service to someone, you almost lose yourself in that cost and forget everything that's troubling you in there. And through that, you get to kind of have a sense of fulfillment, sense of joy. And yeah, it's amazing. And I'm glad you're able to kind of being able to kind of um, seek purpose after losing of your whole one. And it's really amazing. So, what prompts you to spend a full year studying the true meaning of love?
Well, when you understand love and then live it, it's life changing. Like your life will change. There's so many things about love that we're taught about love that have nothing at all to do with love. And so because we're taught wrong, we think of love a certain way. We think of it like as an emotion or a feeling, right? Like so often that's what we're taught that love is, but it's not at all. Like if I watch a scary movie, I go to bed that night and I hear every creak, every bang, every bump, right? And I'm so afraid. But the next night I'm better because fear is an emotion. It is a feeling and it comes and goes. Love does not come and go. Love is walking, talking, living, breathing, giving. Love is who you are. How you decide to walk it, talk it, it's up to you. Or we think of love as a transaction, right? You got to give love to get love. Or I don't know if you've ever heard anybody say love's a two-way street. And so you have this expectation. Well, if I love somebody, then they're going to give it back, give love back to me. And this is what it's going to look like. Well, you don't control anybody but yourself. You have no control over love that does or doesn't come back to you and what it looks like if it does or doesn't come back to you. So when you have these expectations on how you're going to be loved by somebody else, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak and for misery. So love is 100% on you. And it is not transactional. It's not, I give you money, you give me a pair of jeans. I give you love, you give me love. It's not what love is. Love is who you are. Love is who you are. You get to pick how you're going to live it.
Yeah, amazing. Love is action. Love is love, walking, talking, and yeah, it's really amazing the way you actually want to describe it. Being that, yeah, it's love does not exist without actions. There's a whole lot of things. You talk, it walk, and it actually more like carry through a whole lot of system. So, what's surprising the most about love during that journey?
Well, what surprised me the most, probably first of all, is that I would dedicate a year to something. Because to think about dedicating an entire year to something was something way out of my comfort zone. Like I go out for dinner, I have a hard time committing to an entree. So to commit an entire year to something was a real stretch for me. But I decided I would take this 2,000-year-old poem. You hear it at a lot of weddings here in the US. Love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, does not boast, etc. There's 14 is's and isn't of love. And I decided I would take one word or phrase a month and figure out, well, what is love that is patient? What is love that is kind? So since there's 14, it took me a little bit longer than a year. But if I would have stopped after the first month, my life would be different. My life would have changed just on the very first one, and there's 14 of them. So the first month, love is patient. So I just focused on it, looked for it everywhere. Love is patient, love is patient, love is patient. It took me till the end of every month, always. All 14 of them took me to the end of every month for something to happen. And I go, oh, now I finally get it. Now I finally understand. So that month was the start of it. And I looked for it all month. And then finally at the end of the month, I had the situation in Haiti that I went, oh man, now I get it. So love that is patient. If you put love is or love is not in front of any word or phrase, it totally changes the meaning. Like I thought it was going to be easy because you know what patience is. I know what patience is, right? We're not honking our horn if we're stuck in traffic. We're not yelling at our kid because they can't find their shoes and it's time to go out the door, right? That's being patient. But love that is patient is different than that. Love that is patient would say, that this moment right here, right now, is the most important moment of your life. What's in the past is in the past. What's in the future is yet to come. This is the most important moment. So because it's the most important moment, you should be 100% in this moment, not with your mind wandering, one way or the other, past or future, or on anything else, but 100% here in the moment. So the way that looks with love that is patient with another person is you are 100% engaged. And I'll tell you, I stunk at this. I was terrible. I thought that I could be in conversation and be thinking about what I was going to make for dinner, who had to get to soccer practice, what meeting I had later. I could not do that. So I had to practice and practice and practice, really focusing and being in the moment. But when I got it, as I practiced and I got better at it, things changed so dramatically for me because I heard things I never would have heard. It's easy to think I'll ask this question and assume you know what the answer is going to be, right? But when you are just fully there, you're not assuming anything. You're listening. You're truly listening. And there's so much conversation, so much communication that's nonverbal. And so I heard and saw things I never would have heard and saw. And I learned that I do a lot more listening now than I do talking. And that's what love that is patient is it's being 100% there for the person that you're with, who is the person that you love, because we should love everybody.
Amazing, amazing. I think the definition you just gave to love from the head start just got me. Yeah, love is kind, love is patient. It does not boast, it does not envy. Yeah, it's really a whole lot, and just getting to piece them out, seeing that you're able to piece one after the other, and we take one at a time. I think it just speaks volumes to when we actually look to take one at a time, the environment and everything, we speak volumes to that particular one we choose per time and expanding the more we look at it. And it's really lovely. So, how did your experience in Haiti reshape your understanding of love in action?
Well, Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and so it's already a tough place to work. It's a tough place to be. It's tough to get stuff done. The infrastructure is bad. Like it's hard. It's a hard life for the majority of Haitians. It's a very hard life, and so I think it gave me a different perspective being there than had I been in the comfort of my own home in the United States and Michigan and where everything is so much easier. But what I saw is one thing that I learned is that people are people all over the world. Sometimes we focus on our differences, but the reality is our commonality, the things that are alike about us, that list is way longer than the things that are different about us. And the things that are different about us are beautiful and wonderful. Like, it's so cool to me that no two people are the same. No two people ever will be the same, ever are the same. Nobody's walked in your shoes except you. Every day has led to today. So the things that you think, the things that you believe, the things that you trust, the things that you know come from every day you've lived so far, right? And everybody has a unique journey. So I love that. I love the uniqueness of us. But the reality is people are people all over the world. We all have the same needs. We all have the same desires. We all have the same wants. We all have the same lives in so many ways. And so valuing each individual, one thing that really struck me when I was doing this is we can be really good at putting labels on people and whatever that label might be. Like you belong to this political party, that's a label. You're this nationality, that's a label. You're this gender, that's a label. You're whatever you are. There's labels, labels, labels. What you do for a living might be your label. And the reality is love has no labels. Love has zero labels. With labels, you assume things about people. With labels, you put things on them. You have certain expectations when you put a label on somebody. But just because you are part of one political party, that's like being part of a club. It's not who you are. It's a club you belong to. And so if we can get away from the labels and say, you're you and I'm me, we are all individual, and stop making assumptions about people unless you want to make good ones, that people are nice and good and kind and make good assumptions about people, but stop the negative and just realize the beauty of humanity. And that, how cool is it? Like right this moment, you and me, like we get to be here on this show, on your show that you've worked hard and put together. I'm so honored to be here. Like, how cool that this moment gets to happen. Otherwise, I never would have met you, and you're like the coolest guy. And so it's understanding that Labels need to just get thrown out the window and appreciate each person for who they are.
Yeah, living it throughout all the windows, and you let's get to see ourselves who we truly are. And I think it's really amazing, especially when you make reference of even in rich society in Haiti, what's humanity that's the same, and yeah, I know we speak words on a different other end. So can love truly change community, even divided ones?
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? Relationships are always interesting. And you get to pick how you handle every relationship. And I have people say to me sometimes, gosh, Kim, you say that we should love everybody. So what if I'm in an abusive relationship? What if I'm, the guy's beating me or he's, mentally abusing me, emotionally abusing me? And my answer to that is run away from that situation, get away from that situation as quickly as you can. That has nothing to do with love. It doesn't mean that you don't love him. It means you love him enough to leave. Because if you stay in that situation, you're enabling the behavior. You're enabling the behavior to stay the same. You're not giving him space to change. You're not giving him the space that he needs to make a change if he wants to, or if he doesn't want to, up to him, but you don't need to be there for it. That has nothing to do with love. So don't ever feel like you've got to stay in a relationship that is harming you, that is bringing you down. Relationships, we should only be building each other up, only. And if you're in relationships with family, friends, whoever it happens to be, if they're drawing you backward, if they're bringing you down in some way, it's okay to say, you know what, I love them, but it doesn't mean I have to spend that much time with them. Doesn't mean I like them. Like and love are so different from each other, right? So it's okay to draw boundaries. Love is actually the strongest thing you can do. Sometimes we think of love and we think of like rainbows and unicorns and cotton candy or something, and that it's fluff and that it's hearts and roses, and that's not what love is. Love is the strongest thing there is. When you love, truly love, man, you can't help but lift people up. You can't help but be a better leader. You can't help but be a better employee. You can't help but be a better spouse, better parent, better everything when you truly love. So it is truly like armor. Like it is what makes you strong. Your love is what gives you strength.
Thank you so much. Yeah, love have a whole lot of that, and it can change a whole lot of things. Yeah, it's really amazing just hearing sharing your experience of that. So how come our audience get to kind of reach out to you and learn more about?
Yeah, so I am literally the only Kim Sorrelle spelled my way in the entire world because my last name has way too many letters. There's two R's, two E's, two L's. So it's SORRELLE. So kimsorrelle.com is my website. And there's lots of stuff on there. I've got a 14-day love challenge if anybody's interested in that. I do have a show, but going to my website gets you to anywhere you want to go. And I did write a book about my experience, about my 14 months of figuring out love. And so it has everything in there that I figured out about love, but it's more than that. It's the stories of how I got there. And I'll tell you, it was crazy. I was chased by a motorcycle gang. I slept outside with tarantulas and snakes. Like it's every story that happened that led me to a truth about love. And that book is Love Is, and it's available wherever books are sold.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kim. So, Kim, lastly, for those who are going through a whole lot, maybe they lost one of their loved ones, or more like got disappointed by an employees or an employer, and at one point you don't feel to actually more like love anyone again or to do any good. What would be your advice to them? What would be your final word?
Well, I would say this, that it's better to put yourself out there again than to stay hidden. And love is special in that if you live it and give it, it has a very magical way of coming back to you, even though you love with no expectations of getting anything in return. You love that way so that you're not disappointed and heartbroken. But love is very special that it does come back to you. Your heart can heal, and it can be horrible when somebody that you love and you put trust in and they disappoint you, or you lose somebody close to you, they pass away. It can be so hard. All those things can be so hard, and it's not like because you love all of a sudden you should just feel better. It's because you love you hurt so much. That's why you hurt. If you didn't love deeply, you wouldn't hurt at all. Just realize that you'll get through this moment and then put yourself out there, love again. Just let yourself love.
Thank you so much, Kim. It's really a pleasure having you on this particular show. I've learned a whole lot about love, and I know my audience have learned a whole lot too. Thank you for sharing your stories of resilience and transformative powers of love. For our listener, you can actually find Kim's book and a free 14 days love challenge. The link is going to be on the show notes. This has been the Making of Me podcast. It's really a pleasure and honor to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This has been so great. I so appreciate. I appreciate this a ton.